If every conversation with your ex turns into a big battle, you're missing this strategy. You probably need to reduce your communications with your ex to writing. Unfortunately, you're probably in a high conflict situation where communicating over the phone just isn't going to work, or talking in person just isn't going to work. We need you to reduce these things to writing because we want to make sure we have that evidence for the court as we move forward throughout your case to show that the opposing parent is making it extremely difficult for you to co-parent and to try to ask that you have more decision-making abilities throughout that process. Is texting your ex causing more problems than it might solve? There are some apps that could certainly help with that situation. While we try to stay away from co-parenting apps in normal circumstances because we'd love for parties to be able to communicate effectively together on the phone or via text message or via email because it's a little more simple than having to have a dedicated app for your communication, sometimes these apps are just necessary. Apps like Our Family Wizard and other co-parenting apps can be really beneficial in these cases. They keep everything in writing. They make it so that you can't delete information from them. A lot of the time they have shared calendars and maybe even the ability for you to Venmo money back and forth to cover child's expenses. These apps can be really beneficial in high conflict custody cases. Are you protecting your peace or letting your ex walk all over you? This can be a really difficult road to navigate when going through a divorce process. A decision that's made in one household might not be the decision that's being made in the other household, and that doesn't necessarily mean that one of those decisions is wrong. Sometimes it's about allowing things to happen in the other house, even if they're not the exact same way that you would do it in your house. You need to understand that that parent has the ability to parent the child while the child is with them, and your obligation to parent the child only comes when the child is at your house. Of course, there are exceptions to this. If someone's harming a child or if we're doing things that are detrimental to the child during the parenting time, that's something you should address with the other spouse and you should make sure that doesn't continue. But typically, you want to allow both parents to parent during their own parenting time. When your co-parent plays games, do you react or do you respond? The difference could change everything. Co-parenting can be really tough. After a divorce case, it can be really difficult to navigate this road of parenting a child when you're now living in two separate homes. If your ex is refusing to cooperate with things that they need to in order to further the best interest of the child, you may need to seek court intervention. Of course, trying to figure it out with them first, trying to communicate with them, trying to work through co-parenting is what we would always recommend. If that doesn't work, you want to make sure you have those attempts reduced to writing. But if you're still unsuccessful, we may need to look at court intervention and help guide you through that process to make sure we're really taking into account the best interests of your child. Do you have concerns relating to communicating with your ex while co-parenting? If you have questions, give us a call. We'd love to hear about your situation.